Welcome to Weird as a Whimsy, a podcast where we will be discussing all things weird and
You guessed it, whimsical.
whimsical.
Oh,
It's hard to keep that on track when we're virtual, man.
we cannot do it. Hi, my name is Jacqueline.
And I'm Stevie.
And once again, we're coming at you virtually, which is why nothing will be really matched up.
It's true. It's true.
But you get to see us. So this is a video that we're doing. Huzzah.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of fun.
We're matchy in our hunting / lumberjack gear because...
Can you guess what the topic is?
Can you guess? It is our 12th episode, and today we're exploring and hunting. We are talking about everyone's favorite elusive woodland creature, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Sam Squanch, if you're a Trailer Park Boys fan.
I did not know what Sam Squanch was when I was reading this.
Yeah, it's a Trailer Park Boys. Yeah.
That tracks.
But look how cute we look.
We look cute.
We're very match. Our glasses and our little
baby.
Lumbersexual. Let's bring it on. First, let's just get one thing straight here. Americans call it Bigfoot.
Yes.
Canadians call it Sasquatch.
So, I did not realize that.
Yes.
I thought it was like, just
universally known
as Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. I didn't know it was like by the region. So that's kind of cool.
There you go. And like Outer Mongolia and like the Alps, etc. It's Yeti.
So, which I don't have it. I'm using my other one, but I normally have a Yeti.
There you go.
But not this time.
Fun fact: our mics are Yetis.
Yetis, that's true.
Yeah.
Yetis.
Mine is an angry-looking Russian man. And yours is super cute.
It is. Yeah. Well, you can't see mine, but like.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
It's got a good old pink tip.
And Nosfadanya. Angry Russian man. Okay. So with that out of the way,
didn't pick up all of the horrible sounds of us picking up. You know what? That's probably gonna sound bad.
Party people, get used to it. Okay,
get used to it.
You're used to all of the conks and bonks, phones going off. Steven, let me tell you something. I only just thought to like silence my phone and take vibrations off of it. I just did that now, 12 episodes in. So
I have it so that if I turn it on its face, that it automatically silences.
Well,
you're just not a techie person.
I'm just not. I don't know what I'm doing ever.
No.
But we look cute. That's
we do look cute. Yeah.
So, okay, we're talking about the big, tall, hairy, primate-type creature that's eluded capture, both physically and photographically, kind of, for decades. So, while there have been people who claim they've caught footage, of course, we have yet to see clear, undisputed evidence because, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think everyone has seen the infamous old film of one of the Sasquatches sauntering across the screen, looking back over its shoulder.
Yeah.
It came out, I didn't realize this, 57 years ago.
Right?
That video is 57 years old.
57.
So this is known as the Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film.
Yes.
And it was taken while the two men were out looking for Bigfoot on the banks of Bluff Creek in Northern California. The two men have always maintained that it is legit and real. And while one of them died in the 70s, the other has continued to claim that it was the most life-changing experience he's ever had. Kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
He has claimed that the best in Hollywood effects have tried to debunk this video, but they couldn't do so. The best in special effects have tried to debunk this. And
let me interrupt you for 1 second. I'm so sorry.
Yes, please
That's
do.
Probably going to happen. That's just because who we are.
It's true.
We're going to get more into this, but the best in Hollywood effects at the time.
Yes, true.
Right? Let's remember that at the time. So, what were some of the biggest movies coming out 60 years ago? Planet of the Apes is actually a perfect example.
Oh, because
the costumes for the Planet of the Apes, if you take Planet of the Apes costume and this Sasquatch, or I guess because it's in America, Bigfoot, kind of footage, you can there are a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences as well.
True.
So I just want to put that out there.
That's true. Also, Planet of the Apes, great movies.
Oh, excellent.
But they're way more humanoid and less hairy, and I don't know.
And like clearly fake. I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? Yeah.
100%.
Anyway, I digress.
So yes, Hollywood Effects debunked the video, or tried to debunk the video, but couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists, anthropologists, and other academics have also tried to debunk this video, and it just hasn't really been debunked by anyone yet.
Which is great.
Even to this day, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool. Or at least that we found in the research. I mean, it could have, but from what we found, no.
I couldn't find it. There are definitely shows that try to, and everyone kind of ends it with, or is it? You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But we did see on opb.com that a costume designer by the name of Philip Morris came forward and said that he sold a beastly kind of costume to Roger Patterson, and apparently talks about it openly on the Travel Channel show called Making Monsters.
Right. So Patterson,
the guy who filmed the video.
Yeah, he's one of the guys.
Beastly suit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like, again, could he, this Philip Morris guy could just be trying to clear the name of Hollywood people who have tried to debunk it? Who knows? Yeah. Who knows where the truth is? Bob Gimlin, who is the one who is still alive, said that was bullshit. I mean,
but of course he would.
Of course he would. I just think it's really cool and interesting. And like, again, 57 years, like we talked about this on the aliens episode, like that's one hell of a hoax to hold on to.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to get into that.
Like to keep it going for that long. One of them died and still didn't admit anything.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Right. So, how about this though? So that footage, which again, we'll link, I don't know, we'll take a screenshot and send a link out into the World Wide Web in case people haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, where the hell have you been?
Where have you been?
It is referenced. Let me just go on a tangent. It is referenced in like sci-fi pop culture across like the one step where they're looking and the arms are swinging and the steps so wide. That is like the image that everyone uses.
1,000%.
Right? So anyways, okay. Having said that, I have watched this footage, no surprise here, like 1,000 times.
Of course.
Easily in my life. Easily. But you know what I've never noticed until like literally last night when I watched it again for fun?
What? Hit me with it.
It's got boobs. The thing has boobs. It has.
I have never noticed that.
Listen, I clearly am not a huge researcher into Bigfoot or Sasquatch because I did not notice, nor did I know that, yes, they've come out and said like it's female. I have never noticed this. So, in fact, on a CBC News Radio interview that I did find with Bob Gimlin, who is the one who's still alive, he actually says that this thing was female because of, and I quote, the mammary glands, which you can totally see. If you like watch that video back, Stephen.
I need to go watch the video.
There are some biddies. There's some tig bitties there.
Biddies. Tig bitties. I will do after.
But tig bitties.
Hairy tig bitties.
Very, very hairy. Which, like, listen, I'm not slamming you, girl. Like, you do you.
Yeah. Au natural, baby.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, how have I never noticed this before? Yeah, if these were... And that kind of got me thinking, like, if these were dudes faking it and getting, like, a costume, why would they get a costume that has tiggle bitties on it?
I mean, unless they were horny creeps who were like, oh, this could be fun.
I want it with gigantic breasts.
Gigantic breasts. Let's slam some beers and record this thing.
Shake them. Shake them. This is already coming off the rails. We're 9 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if they were seriously, like, did they plan this? Were they like, we're going to do a video of a fake Sasquatch. I want giant tits on it. I want, you know what I mean? Like, who would think that? Certainly not two friggin' cowboys back in the 50s. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Also, at that time, like Sasquatch, Bigfoot, everyone, I mean, it was the day, or like, what am I trying to
Yeah.
say? Back in that time, like men were,
Men were men.
men.
Men were
Men were
men.
men.
Yeah.
And they, like, Bigfoot was thought of as a man
As 100%.
because,
They didn't want to find a female Sasquatch. They
they
don't give a
didn't,
shit about
no
female
way.
Sasquatch, right?
No.
So I just thought that was interesting. I don't know, an observation that I was quite proud of myself to be like,
I like
why
that.
would they choose to fake a girly girl one?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Like, obviously, we've talked about this. Like, footage can be manipulated.
Yeah.
Someone could have very well put on a suit, whatever. Fine. And I am the first one to say, like, where's the second, third, fourth, fifth shot? However, I also understand that this was almost 60 years ago, and they didn't just have like iPhones they could whip out and start, you know what I mean?
True. Yes.
So I get
Yes.
it. And they're lumbering through the forest. I get it. They also went on to say that, it took them by great surprise. Like, this thing popped out of the forest face and just ripped by them. So
like, were they recording something else already and they were filming and this thing just happened to walk into the screen?
yes,
Like,
that is exactly what they claim happened. They
okay.
were actively hunting and looking for Bigfoot. And when they came across this like rocky, which you can tell from obviously the background of the footage, like it's a very open
Yeah.
space, it had clambered down sort of this embankment and kind of like barreled right by them where they were at. So, and that's also why it seemingly looks like directly at them, because maybe it was caught off guard too. I don't know if this thing is
I
real.
can see
They'd
it.
be like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? And just keep trucking, right? Like,
who are these douchebags in my forest?
100%. My titties are out. Like, what is going on?
She just got out of the shower. And oh no!
Exactly. So it's interesting.
Wow.
It's interesting.
It is.
It's
crazy.
It's an infamous piece of footage.
That's very cool. Well, some people believe in this so much that they have dedicated their lives and careers to it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a show on Animal Planet called Finding Bigfoot, where a man named Cliff Barackman is touted as a professional Bigfoot researcher. And he is claimed to have one of the biggest collections of Bigfoot footprints and handprints in the world.
Bigfoot feet.
The Bigfoot feet. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
The OG feet finder of feet
Oh my God.
prints.
Think of that guy's foot finder. Steven, we have to find out if he has a
right?
We have to find out.
I hope he's making bank off
I hope so too.
He has been researching and chasing these things for 2 full decades.
Wild.
He claims that this footage clearly shows muscles moving on the animal and specifically shows flexibility in the foot. He has also analyzed the footprint that was cast after this video was made, and he says that the pressure ridge on the foot is what makes him think it was real.
Okay.
So is that saying that after that video was made, these men went to the spot, they saw Bigfoot, and did a cast of whatever tracks they found in the area?
Yeah, like plaster casts of the thing walking, like the tracks of it. Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
So the pressure ridge, so like we have arches in our feet, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
as you take human, you take primate, you take dog, I don't care, whatever. Obviously each footprint has a very distinct mark, and because we are bipedal,
good word.
Thank you. The weight distribution of when you can also tell, listen, I just look like a hunter. I am not a hunter tracker, but what I do know is there's a difference between someone walking and leaving those footprints or someone running and leaving those footprints.
Right? It makes a difference.
Yeah, because of the way that it's, landing in the dirt, your muscles are flexing, blah, 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 blah. Someone far smarter than I can chime in and talk about that if they want. But that's what I thought was cool, was that this guy, who I feel like he knows a little something about feet, which is so creepy to me. Do you think his house is just like full of footprints, like cast footprints? But what if it's not just Bigfoot? Like, He for sure has a fetish.
He's a major foot fetisher.
He's
Foot fetisher? Is that the word?
Listen,
Would that be
sorry,
the word?
Cliff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cliff. Do not come at us for libel. I respect what you do tremendously, but you can't tell me that you're not a foot guy. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, right? So again, like, this is either the biggest hoax on the face of the earth, or this video is real and these things exist. I have a lot of thoughts. About Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch.
What are your beliefs around Bigfoot and Sasquatch?
Okay. I think he's real.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to be some sort of, or I'm gendering him. I'm so sorry. Could be her, could be them, they, them. I think Bigfoot is real, but not necessarily like a mythical creature.
Yep.
I think they could be just some sort of apey primate, or okay, I'm gonna get somewhat sciencey, but I'm probably gonna fuck it up.
Can't wait.
But we as humans developed from, I can't think of the actual word, but we
primordial ooze.
No, like
not going from there.
Weren't the cavemen a certain type of like ape
Homo
person?
sapien, yeah,
Homo sapiens,
Homo sapien. Then, there was like a evolutionary,
and humans as we know it were Homo sapiens, right? And the Neanderthals were a different species that didn't make it as far as humans did, or there's some sort of...
Yeah, you know what? I do not remember the anthropology section of that history class. I mean, but I understand what you're saying. Yes, you're correct. There's a lineage. There's lineage. We went this way and other things went that way.
Yeah, so maybe Bigfoot, Sam Squanch, could be some sort of evolution of like Neanderthals.
Amazing, very scientific, Stevie.
Sometimes I've got it in there.
I love it.
But yeah, maybe they evolved and they're living in the woods, living in the forest. They're covered in hair.
Yep.
They're doing their own thing. I mean, there are all over the world. I mean, it's less and less every day, but there are groups like tribes and peoples who have no
contact with this world.
Society, contact with this world. They do their own thing. Like, there is no outside influence. So,
and Bigfoot could be something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Right? We're oh man, you are speaking my language. Yeah. So I found this on the BBC and the CBC in BC. That's a lot of B's and C's.
Yep, a lot of B's and C's.
So BC is the place to be. Rhyming. Eminem over here. Found this on the BBC and the CBC within BC.
We're cool guys. It
was late. It was late when I wrote this. I was trying to stay awake. Okay.
I love it.
So if you want to try and see a Sasquatch, specifically Harrison River Valley or the Harrison Hot Springs, I guess that's like the town is what it's called, is the place to be. Okay. So from their website, tourismharrison.com, I'm going to take this as a quote from where the Sasquatch name came from, because I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't know this either.
And I quote, "The word Sasquatch is thought to be a mispronunciation of the Staheles First Nations word Sasquatch, meaning hairy man." So that tracks.
There you go. That tracks.
For centuries, the Sasquatch has occupied a unique niche in the oral traditions of the First Nations communities of Harrison Lake and Harrison River. The Staheles, who have been in the Harrison River Valley for over 10,000 years, so I feel like they know a little something, believe the Sasquatch is a spiritual being that can vanish into the spirit realm at will, which may also explain why the elusive being is so difficult to track down, end quote.
I mean, hey, that's pretty cool.
I've never thought of that before I saw this.
I've never thought of that before either.
Right. I've also found that there are some people who think these guys can slip through the spirit realm, which again explains a lot of that whole mystery. So like they can easily, slip back and forth. I think I just reread what I said. But anyways, personally, Personally, I think they're just like really good at hiding.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think they're, while I respect and I love the fact that the First Nations communities have been talking about this for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I love the origin story. I wonder if I'm personally on your side of the belief, Stephen, where it's like an actual mammal that exists that we have not discovered.
Yes.
And it's just so good at hiding that we just can't see it. We simply cannot actually see it.
They adapted to hiding from us.
100%. 100%.
I mean, there's so many, like in those forests and in that area, there's so much like unexplored land. There's tons and like miles and miles of like underground caves they could hide in. They could do that very easily.
Yeah. And like there are a dozen other clips where they're like, oh, there it is. And you're looking at it, you're like, I don't fucking see it. And then they have to circle it. And you're like, I thought that was a rock. Like,
right? Yeah.
Just saying.
They've evolved to blend into,
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Also, have you seen Harry and the Hendersons?
Of course I have. Oh my goodness.
Such a good movie. I love it.
Such a good one.
This makes me think, so 2 scenes stick out in my mind. I mean, great movie. But number 1, love when he eats the corsage. I love when he eats the corsage. I love it. But what we're talking about now is like, remember at the very end when they like not set him free because he could go at any time, but they're like willing him to go back out into the forest. Yes. And he's like looking into the forest and then someone's like, oh my gosh, is that his family? And then it cuts to, and it's just like a bunch of trees. And then all of a sudden, one by one, they all come out and you're like,
yeah,
I did not even see them. Anyways, obviously that's a movie, I'm aware. But
we're using it as facts.
Seriously, like, I think they're just so good at hiding and camouflage that we just cannot see them. We just physically can't see them. So
I think so too.
That's what I mean.
There's so many animals out there that are like that. They are just really good at blending in. They're so hard to see. Like I think that.
Like look at the freaking stick bug, for Christ's sake.
Right?
It's a bug like that looks like a stick.
Absolutely.
So that's just what I think.
I love it.
Right?
Well, you guys know we love our scientists.
Love us a scientist.
Love us a scientist. So here's some insights from a scientist.
Great.
So we found this article from the BBC entitled "The True Origins of Sasquatch," referring to Harrison Hot Springs.
Got it.
So the town also draws researchers such as Thomas Stenberg,
sure,
who has written 4 books on the subject, including The Search of Giants, Bigfoot Sasquatch Encounters, and has appeared as a guest speaker on the subject at events such as Alberta Culture Days. He insists he remains a healthy skeptic. Great. Which I think you have to be. I think you can't be fully into it.
I totally agree.
On any subject. Does that make sense? Yeah.
1,000%.
There should always be healthy skepticism in everything.
Yeah, everyone, I talked about this in our alien episodes. Like, I have a code. I have like a list of criteria that's like, if I see something in the sky, is it, is there propulsion? Is there propulsion? Yes. Is there a drag? Are there lights blinking? Like, you have to have your list. And I'm sure Bigfooters, I don't know if that's what they prefer to be called.
I like that.
Probably have that too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a quote from this man, I accept the possibility that the Sasquatch may turn out to be nothing more than mythology and folklore, and that alone makes it worth looking into. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. So Steenberg said that, who lives nearby in the city of Mission.
Okay.
If Sasquatch is real, Steenberg believes it's an unclassified primate, possibly...
Stephen.
Possibly Gigantopithecus?
I said it last night. Hold on. Guys, stay with us.
We got
Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus black eye.
Yep.
Is the full.
Yes.
I like that. Gigantopithecus black eye. Black eye.
Sure.
Sure. Oh my god! Now my
We're
words are
killing
just
it.
not
We are
happening.
killing it.
Which is an extinct ape from southern China that could have crossed the Bering Land Bridge and remained concealed in North America's vast boreal forest. But the fact that no one has produced credible documentation of Sasquatch bothers him, which fair.
Fair.
Ultimately, the burden of proof lies in DNA, he said.
Yeah. So like that article, that snippet pretty much says it all. Again, like talking about being a healthy skeptic.
Yeah.
But also being open, like he mentioned, you know, he's open to it. But I really, and that kind of, he said what you said, Stephen, this is likely an existing creature that we just have not documented yet. We just
I
haven't.
think that makes the most sense.
I completely agree. There, you know what I mean? Like, and there are far weirder things that we have discovered. You know what I
right?
mean?
100%.
There are clear frogs living in the rainforest. Like these frogs are completely transparent. Why can we not have a hairy, you know, upright beast running around? I don't know. Again, look at gorillas, monkeys, orangutans with their gigantic, ridiculous faces. You're not telling me, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
100%.
But like,
I also like that it's an extinct ape that could have crossed the Bering Land Bridge and is just here randomly. I hadn't heard that theory before, but that's actually
cool,
really cool,
right? Yeah, like naturally migrated over and then has adapted and changed. You know, with the
because if you think of the Yeti, that's from over in that area, right?
Exactly.
And then, so they could have originated there, crossed the Bering Land Bridge, and, you know, made its home here.
Here that happens
a lot with things.
Sure.
Like, that happens all the time.
Absolutely. They found a freaking great white shark in our freshwaters off of the coast of Newfoundland.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So proof is kind of, you know, what the theme is here. Of course, with anything, obviously. But I find with like, for whatever reason with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, like that's the thing. Like people are like, oh, show me the proof. So I actually decided to ask a bunch of people I know if they believe specifically in Sasquatch. Little experiment, guys.
I like it.
It was split like right down the middle. Like there was no clear definitive winner here. It's pretty split. However, the people who did say no also added a similar comment about it like almost every single time. So like, show me the proof, or I only believe in things I can actually see, or show me one in a zoo. You know what I mean? They're like, no, because I've never seen one. Which like fine, but like I'm gonna steal a line from the Santa Claus. Have you ever seen $1 million? Just because you haven't seen it, because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it exists. Anyway, while I understand and appreciate obviously what they're saying, of course, you know, I thought it was really interesting that everyone who said no was like, show me the proof, whereas everyone who said yes was like, oh yeah, it has to be, much like what we're saying. There are too many unexplored areas here. So the FBI actually looked into it once.
I love this,
which I thought was really, really funny. Much to my, I was gonna read off of it. I'm not going to, just because of time. But what the main takeaways that I found, number one, someone sent in like a sample of hair that they thought was from Bigfoot. It was deer hair. Sorry, it was deer hair. However, the fact that the FBI was like, yeah, we'll stop what we're doing and we will utilize our resources to check if this is in fact actually Bigfoot hair, leads me to believe that someone out there in those government big ups could be like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
100%.
Right?
Like, I feel like there's enough stuff out there to at least look into it.
Well, yeah, clearly someone felt the same way, right?
Yes.
So, that I thought was pretty funny though, that they actually did this test. But yeah, for me,
and then it was just deer hair.
It was deer hair, which, like, damn it, of course, of course. Like, there's this, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, like, I'm falling back on what I typically say when there is an animal species that seemingly aligns with other similar animals on this earth. And as I mentioned, like, a habitat as large as this one, like, you can't tell me that we know everything in all of these forests. Like,
exactly.
When you think of just Canada, think of just Ontario. Let's go even smaller. Microscope. Southern Ontario, as we know, is ginormous.
Yes.
You have to drive 24 hours straight to get, you're still in the province at that point if you went north.
I always forget how big Ontario actually is.
Ontario is massive. Canada is huge. Second largest country in the world. And once you get up there, like, it's nothing but forests, and then it's the freaking Arctic. You know what I mean? So, I don't think there's any way we can comfortably say that these things don't exist without kind of shooting ourselves in the foot and being like, well, then I guess we've already found all the animals that ever need to be found. We're found. You know what I mean?
Which is it's still happening where, you know, there's videos and things coming out of us discovering new species, new animals.
Seriously.
Freaking the ocean, the bottom of the ocean. Like, there's so much down there we haven't explored.
Yeah. And
oh my God, underwater yetis? That would be cool.
Do you think that's a thing?
I mean, I guess that would be mermaids, no? Maybe?
Okay, but what thing was it? Oh man, see, I'm pulling a Steven.
Ooh,
was this a show that I watched, or did I actually learn in school that, like, there are primates who swam? Like, there were monkeys who were swimming at one point, and
like what do you mean swimming? Just like, you know, they would randomly jump in the water and start swimming?
Like, no, like it wasn't like monkeys how you know and I. This was like, remember you talking about the course of evolution and like the Homo sapiens, blah blah. There was a branch of Homo sapiens who were in the water, and
really,
and yes, I'm not making this up, because you know how we have webbed fingers and toes.
Yeah,
that's where fucking came from.
I knew nothing about this. I did not know this was a thing. That's cool.
I am reaching deep into the app. Like, man, I'm telling you, I think it was a show. I don't think it was an actual school situation, but there was like a
documentary or something like that.
There's a theory that our lineage also could have come from the water, but they were like, you know what? This is way too hard. Screw it. I'm going back on land. Right? And that's why we have these little webs left over.
And some people do have like actual webbed,
very pronounced like, webbed feet.
And very
wild, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. So like, maybe your idea of underwater yetis is not far off. You never know.
Right.
So like, I ask you, why can't there, if we can have, as I mentioned, clear frogs that we've just discovered in the rainforest, why can't there be 14 or 15 foot tall friggin' bipedal walking around the forests of North America? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Why? And oh, man, I've seen so many. Have you seen all the clips of like someone having a tree thrown at them and like logs thrown at them?
Yeah. And you'll hear like it couldn't possibly be an animal. Well, maybe a bear or a moose or something. But when you hear the crashing, like crazy noises that are coming from the forest, like
yeah, it's pretty wild, right?
Stuff
and
thrown
like,
at them.
Sticks.
So cool.
Rocks, boulders. People have claimed to speaking of sounds, like claim to capture like shrieks or yells. And from what I understand from all the research I was doing is these things run in packs, and they're very, very territorial, and they're very, very loyal to one another. So if you get close to one, they're gonna attack you. Which is also probably why no one's ever been able to like shoot one, which I hope that never happens. I hope that never happens.
Because humans fucking suck.
Humans suck.
We just shoot everything.
If we don't know what it is, we don't understand, we kill it. Man, we could go deep on that one, but we're not. That's for another day. Right. One thing I did find, which I thought was interesting, was even though our government is like, you know what, maybe these don't exist, but maybe they do. They have kind of said no one is to kill it. If you're in Canada and you see a Sasquatch, not allowed. Can't
Oh,
kill it.
good.
Yeah. So like, yay, Canadian government. Can't say that a lot right now. But
I love that they put that out, though.
Yeah,
That's
like,
great.
I can't afford food and water, but thank you for not letting us kill Sasquatches.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that interesting though, right?
That is interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Very cool.
questions for you. A couple questions for
Yes,
you.
hit me with it.
Would you okay, if you are faced with a Sasquatch, what would you do?
Shit my pants.
How did I not see that coming? How did I not see that coming? Would you
common theme.
Like, would you freeze? Would you try and talk to it? Would you try and would you run away?
Well, from how we have reacted in the past when we're ghost hunting, I have a feeling we would freak out and run away.
I would not do well, especially because this thing could kill me with its bare hands.
Yeah.
Right? Or throw a tree at me.
Yeah. If I was able to set enough vision or eyes on it that it wasn't moving and it was kind of just there and staring, I might freeze and try to get as good of a look as I could.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it would be in my mind to whip up my phone. I think I would be too scared to think of anything but just stare at it.
Yeah.
And then first sign of movement from it, I would be out of there.
Oh, pieced it. Yeah. Well, especially because, again, if we know they move in packs, if there's one, there are many. What if they're
surrounded? Imagine if you go to run and it's directly behind you. And you're
bitch! And it just slams you down. I'm telling you. Yeah, I mean, listen, this or okay. You've seen oh my god, Deliverance, right? We've seen Deliverance. You got a burning mouth. It's weird. Why are you friends with me? So
because I was about to say the exact same thing. So
perfect. What if Sasquatch are so you talked about the tribes and how what if the Sasquatch is in fact just genetically mutated humans who are we know what we are, we will not be accepted into society, we gotta take to the trees.
I could totally see something like
that.
Absolutely.
Right? Listen, there are a lot of theories out there, and maybe that's one. Any other thoughts on the Sasquatch?
Okay, so I was waiting until the end, but I have a funny story.
Let's hear it. I can't wait.
So we've talked about my husband in the past and how he's not even a healthy skeptic. He's just fuck that shit. Yeah. It ain't a thing. So I think I was watching, I think it might have been Nuke's Top 5. And one of the videos comes on where it's I think it's two guys, two friends or something, and they're filming. They see it's way off in the distance. I think it's in a forest mountain range thing. They're filming, so they're zooming in. So obviously you can't see much. It's pixelated. There's never any good videos.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's zooming out, but you see, you do see something very tall and dark that's walking rather quickly, across where they're filming.
Yep.
Honestly, it could have been anything, but they're filming. And of course, Dan walks in at the moment where they're like, oh, I mean, it's a Sasquatch. There's no other thing it could be. It must be a Sasquatch. I was like, first of all, even I was like, come on. There's nothing else it could be but a Sasquatch.
A person, Frank. Hey, Frank.
A tall person, something. You're so far away that even zooming in, you can see no features whatsoever. It is a black blob moving across the screen. But there is no other explanation. It must be a Sasquatch.
And that, which of course he quotes
all the time. And of course he had to come in at that moment. And he looks at me. He's like, are you fucking kidding me?
See,
I was like, what? It's a Sasquatch, clearly.
Shut up, Dan. It's clearly a Sasquatch. See, and this is the thing. we know that, of course, there are fools out there who will just believe, and like we do not identify as just suckers who believe everything.
No.
We're very open, and we have a vast kind of acceptance of things. But but you can't tell me. Well, it's a Sasquatch. There's no other explanations. It must
be a Sasquatch.
That is fantastic. And yes.
So anytime we see anything that's like weird in the forest, or we just see something, walking by like a window or something that you can't really clearly see, or just anything weird and unexplainable, we like all of us now are basically like our friend group is like, it must be a Sasquatch.
Must be a Sasquatch.
There's no other. There's nothing else.
Other explanation.
Must be a Sasquatch. So it is one of my favorite things. We put that all the time.
It's a great one. It's a good one. My brother and I, because we were super into this as kids too, and we went out to Alberta, and while we didn't go directly into BC, of course, obviously Alberta has a ton of its own forests, and we'd just be driving and we'd be like this out the window, like Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Sasquatch. We would just anything we saw.
Little titties. Saw them.
Right? Like, why have I never thought of female Sasquatches having biddies? Like, I just...
Right?
Anyway, there you go.
I love it.
Well, that was great. Thank you very much for that. And thank you to Dan for, giving us that little nugget. So
he told me, he's like, you better get this story right, because this is the only thing I'm requesting you talk about on this episode. So before I started recording, he's like, you tell that story correct.
I think you nailed it. I
think I nailed it. I think I did pretty good.
Party people, you're welcome to also say that too. Just must be a Sasquatch. There's no other reasonable explanation.
Are we going to put that on a t-shirt? That should be one of our t-shirts.
Going on a shirt. Oh yeah. So okay, not really. We're going to do merch, guys. Would you do merch?
We have to.
We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of little quotes and quippets that we would say. So
yeah.
Well, okay, Stephen. I think that's it for Sasquatch related discussions.
That was a good episode.
That was a good one. I hope everyone enjoyed. So,
Sam Squanch.
Thank you so much for listening to the Weirdos of Whimsy. We will be back again soon with another episode that guides you through the weird and whimsical journey that is our brains. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Weirdos of Whimsy Pod. Watch that space for updates and release dates and other treats and delectable morsels. Say goodbye, Stevie.
Bye, guys.
And as always, big gulps, eh? Well, see you later.
I
can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear it back.